Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's me, the Lou D-O-double-G. You are listening to the Angry Belly Anime Watch podcast where we...
watch anime.
Wow, I felt like you were right in my ears for that one, despite being across the country.
Yeah, I got close to the mic, just for you.
Oh, that... Oof. Oof. Can't let Andrew know about this. Speaking of Andrew, Mr. Toomey commented on our fourth episode of the podcast on YouTube. So if you're listening to it on podcatchers, you have to go to YouTube to see this comment. But he said, and I quote, "I'll pay you $10 to say the last episode is sponsored by me." Granted, he commented on the fourth episode when the fifth had already come out. And by this point, the sixth one has come out. So this is 2 weeks before. Anyway, not important, the timeline. But if you really want to sponsor us, Mr. Toomey, please get with me. My email is at ludog956@theangrybelly.com. So yeah, we might have a sponsor here soon for $10. I don't know what he wants me to say, but maybe we'll figure it out, huh?
I don't know. Maybe it'll be something romantic.
Something romantic? Okay, sure.
I don't know. A buddy can dream.
What if he likes you?
I don't know. I think he might have a crush on me. I think that's why he wants to sponsor the episode.
Oh, weird.
Oh my God.
Anyways, Katie, how are you today?
We're feeling silly. Oh, did you ask me how I am today?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, my brain processed it so slow. Yeah, I'm fine. It's a Tuesday. My boss today came up and handed me a gift card for $3,000, and he told me to go on a shopping spree and spend it, because if we don't spend the money, we won't get it again for next year. So I'm going to buy a new planer tomorrow. So Katie's really happy.
Oh, very fun. Very, very fun.
Yeah. I don't know. We're going to buy something fancy. Well, at least new planer blades. Something exciting. We're going to buy a bunch of sheet goods, maybe a new orbital sander, feeling fancy. So, you know.
You should just use the callus on your hands to sand some MDF down. I think you could do that, right?
Yeah, I probably. I try every day.
Yep. Oh gosh. That's some carpenter talk right there for you.
It is hilarious.
Anyways, I feel like we haven't recorded a lot lately, but we kind of
we've
taken some time in between.
Wait, Lou.
What?
How was your day?
My day? Oh,
yeah, your day. How are you today? I didn't ask.
Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm doing good. I had some French fries, some seasoned French fries before we started this. With barbecue sauce, Sweet Baby Ray's. It was just like this checkered bag I bought from the H-E-B. If you don't know what the H-E-B is,
I do.
Look it up. It's the fourth branch of government in Texas. But they were like frozen. I popped them in the air fryer for about 10 minutes at 400 degrees. Came out nice and crispy.
Are we sponsored by H-E-B?
Dude, okay. Sorry, Andrew. You're no longer our sponsor. No, I'm just kidding.
H-E-B actually sponsored Omni Vocal Jazz 1 year, so I'm pretty sure you could get them to sponsor this.
Okay, but they also sponsor the San Antonio Spurs, and I don't know if we're quite as big as the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah? Ask Zeph.
Zeph probably, yeah. Zeph probably thinks we're as big as this. Anyways.
Yeah.
Zeph, if you're listening, he might actually be. He loves anime.
I hope he listens to these. I do it for him.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll be sure to tell him that so that he can roast you next time in the foodie channel.
Can we add him in the Discord when this episode drops?
Sure. We can. Zeph is our friend. He's the mod on the Discord, a mod on the Discord, as well as on the streamy weenies on YouTube. So anyways.
Streamy weenies.
Well, Katie, I think the audience is here for us to talk about a fun little spy adventure.
Can I tell you how I feel about this show?
Yeah, go ahead. Wait, before you say that, I want to say something because I will forget it.
Oh, yeah.
The way you pronounce this show's name is just Spy Family.
There's no X in it?
There is no X, which makes sense. X just sounds cool, you know? I mean, I did my research prior to this.
Wait,
it's just Spy Family.
Why is there an X? Did you figure that out?
I probably can, but I'm not going to right now. This will be for next podcast.
Each episode, we figure out one more piece of the puzzle. No, my feelings about Spy Family are the only thing that I don't like about the show is that I have to wait a week or 2 weeks between watching the next batch of episodes so it's fresh for recording. That's the only thing I don't like about this show.
Really? Okay, that you didn't even say that about Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I feel like they're hard to compare.
He might pull the sponsorship after hearing that.
Pull a sponsorship from Spy Family?
Yeah, well, because you don't like
right,
his favorite.
Andrew. I'm just mishearing all over the place today. Yeah, no, Andrew. Well, can we just edit that part out? Andrew doesn't need to know about that, right?
Achilles, please do keep it in. Thank you. I pay you, not her.
Yes, it's your show.
Oh my god.
Okay, moving on. I'm glad you're liking it though.
Oh yeah, are you liking it?
Yeah, I am. I will get into it, but like I do love especially like a lot of the, and I'm sure everybody does. Anya's a fan favorite, but like
yeah,
this little slice of life. It's very like animated, right? As animated shows go, but like the way she acts just being a kid.
So cute.
You know, that's exactly how a kid would act though.
Yeah.
Like they just latch onto this one thing their parents say or someone teaches them and they're like, yes, I'm going to do this one thing I was taught and that's all I'm going to do, even if it doesn't apply to this situation or even if it doesn't make sense to this. Like, for example, when she's like grinning at Damian, but we'll get there. We will get there. Anyways, Katie, you ready to get into the play-by-play?
Let's get into it, yeah. Hop out with a truck. Get into it, yeah. That's a pop culture reference.
Is that Doja Cat?
Yeah, I heard it on the radio.
Jesus. The more we talk in the podcast, the more I'm like, people definitely think she's 85 years old.
They would be correct.
Okay. Episode 5. Will they pass or fail? The 7.8 rating on IMDb. Anya gets excited about passing the entrance exam, but wants some motivation to study. So the family and Frankie go on a role play in a castle upon Anya's request. How do you feel about this episode?
I thought it was delightful. Charming. What about you?
I liked it too. Yeah. There were some specific moments that I was like, this is so funny. So funny. Not my favorite in the batch for surezies, but...
Wait, me neither.
Okay, great. We agree on that. We'll start with the play-by-play. Today is the day they find out whether or not Anya gets into the school. What is it? Eden College?
Eden College.
Anya and Fam are out and about, and they start seeing a lot of like bad signals. So it's like, oh,
a black cat.
There's a black cat. That means you're gonna not get in. And then there's this one, and this is like my favorite one. But Anya steps in poo, but it's like censored poop.
It's blurry. It is hilarious.
And I can't help but wonder if it's like was that on purpose? Like was Japanese like, okay, we can put boobs on this screen and show basically everything except nipple, but poop is where we draw the line. We cannot show poop. I genuinely hope it was just a joke.
Would it be considered like a kid-friendly show? Because there's been nothing in the show so far except for some mild violence that I would say is like not kid-friendly.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I feel like a lot of people watch anime even if it's not kid-friendly, so who knows, but
that's true.
Anyways, they do go to the campus and they do find out that they did not pass. Her name is not on there. And then boom, we get straight into the intro. And then now the cool headmaster pulls them aside and is like, hey, yo, just want y'all to know you're on the waiting list. And the reason why you're first on the waiting list is because you killed the fly that could have killed another headmaster.
Excuse me, Louis. That's factually inaccurate. It was a mosquito.
Oh, okay. Sorry. In my brain, the same damn thing, Katie. Okay.
But flies don't bite. Mosquitoes bite.
Okay, well, there you go. Because mosquitoes are like the second leading cause of death in the country is basically what he says.
True.
And I think that's just hysterical because, I mean, we all know that Lloyd did not punch the freaking table because he wanted to help save the headmaster from a mosquito.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, that's
how you know he's a G.
A real, yeah, absolutely. You heard it here first, folks. Katie said the word G.
He's a G.
I'm referring to gangster.
Gangster.
Master Henderson says that people leave every year, so they're most likely to get into the school. And so they're just like, okay. And Queen Yor is sitting there daydreaming about killing like someone, like a politician, so that his son doesn't get to go to school so that Anya can take his spot.
And then Anya is like reading Yor's mind. And then when we come back to real life, Anya's face lights up like a Christmas tree. She's so excited.
She's like, oh my God, she would do that for me.
So cute.
But Master Henderson may not be able to teach. He is like, oh yeah, I might not be here, by the way, because I guess maybe he got in trouble or he might get in trouble, whatever. We do find out later that he is still teaching, but he's like teaching like the first years or whatever. I guess that was like their way of demoting him. But anyways, 3 days later, they were sitting by the phone basically, and Anya's doing this super cute like prayer chant thing to like make sure like she gets into the school, but a phone goes off and basically someone dropped out. She's now in the school, essentially. They're now going to party. Frankie comes with a yummy anime looking food in anime all the time. Delicious. Especially like Studio Ghibli. Looks so good. Constantly. He told Anya that Lloyd would do whatever she wanted for him.
Frankie's just trying to stir up shit. He always
exactly
is.
like he would do whatever she wanted for her is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, he's trying to start some shit. And he's like, dude, why would you say that? Or he says that he would buy anything for her. And then she's like, well, I don't want to buy anything, but what I do want to do is this. And she shows him like a snippet of the show she likes watching, the spy show. And it's like, yeah, I want to play safe Princess Anya. So she like wants Lloyd to be like the spy who comes and saves her and like blah, 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 blah. And then freaking Frankie's like, okay, why don't we do it at the castle where they filmed this?
He's like, oh, conveniently, you can rent it out. And then, of course, like Lloyd just gives him this death glare of like, are you kidding me? And then like,
he's like, now I have to.
Like, of course we have to. Because like, if you tell a little kid that their dreams are achievable, the kids are going to freak out. Like, of course they are. And then they like call up the spy agency and they're like, hey, we're going to need some help.
We're going to need every single agent available for this mission because the weight of the world depends on it, or the fate of the world depends on it.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. And like my favorite part about this whole thing is that like the woman who gives like the go ahead for this, it like remembers back to her, like her superior that says, oh yeah, Twilight's the best spy ever. Trust him. Blah, 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 blah. And she's like, okay, I'm going to trust him. All agents go to blah, 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 go to the place or whatever. And then they all freaking go.
Yeah, she's like, this is more important than whatever rank you're taking. And then they fly out a helicopter to take them to this castle. Also, all of this is happening so fast. This was all contingent upon the fact that the castle was like open and rentable. And it's already nighttime and it's already dark. And Yora's already drunk off her ass.
I was going to say, this whole time, Yora's drunk, could not get a word in.
And let me just say, I know like 99% of the people listening to this will never see me drunk, but you're drunk, very accurate representation of me drunk.
You know, I feel like I remember this. Well, I will say, the last time I was around you drunk, I got really frustrated because you threw rum all over the freaking movie theater ground.
Oh, that was hilarious. It was an accident.
Yeah, for you. We were trying to watch Ghostbusters, dog.
Ghostbusters! The other day I was trying to remember and I thought it was maybe Sonic 2. But I think I saw that alone.
I have not seen Sonic 2 or 1.
Oh my god. You didn't see Sonic the Hedgehog 1 or 2?
We're not going to talk about this right now. This is Spy Family, okay?
It's okay. We'll review it and we'll put it on the Patreon.
Oh yeah, the Patreon that's never going to happen? No, it'll happen, I'm sure.
It'll happen.
Anyway, so... as Katie was saying, they get into a plane to fly over there. Obviously, in something I did want to point out though is that in the spy like show, it shows the princess that she kind of like looks like Peach.
Oh, for sure.
From Mario. And then when they're in the plane, Frankie goes Yahoo! As they're like flying away, and I was like, okay, that's 110% a Mario reference.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice that. That's great.
No, it was pretty awesome. But as they get there, they're like, oh, Anya, like a child, is very happy with the castle for like all of 2 seconds. And she's like, but wait, there's no servants. There's no enemies. How is this going to be? How is this like a real life castle? This is not right. And then so Frankie does what Frankie does and basically coerces Lloyd into getting the people, as we were talking about before, the other assets. And they all go. And like Katie was saying, they all come in like jet skis and in parachutes. And, they're all there. And by far, my most favorite aspect of this whole episode is the fact that the other spies fangirl over Lloyd.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
It'd be like if we met Pedro Pascal. They were freaking out over this guy. They were like, he's the best spy ever. I can't believe we're going to get to witness his acting skills. Like, so silly.
It is very, very silly. So the game begins and Lloyd has to like answer some questions like, oh, what is Anya's favorite food? What is then the last one is like, what does Anya want right now? And then like he gives a very sensible answer, and I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was like 04.
Yeah. The proposition was like, if you get this question incorrect, you have to put on the Bond man outfit.
The Bond man, that's what they call him.
And then he was like, I think she wants me to put on the Bond man outfit. And she says, actually, I'm thirsty. It's like so random. Like, you're such a smart kid.
Incredibly random. Anyway, so then he has to like play the game and put on the outfit. Basically, the outfit consists of 2 whole gloves for his hands and then like a face mask, and like that's pretty much it. But he has to fight, so he's like running to go and save her or whatever, and there's like balls being thrown at him. He has to fight like other spies, and then he like has to get to like a tower, and then he has to go up the tower, and this whole time he's doing like really like badass spy moves. Like he has this gun, he's like deflecting the ball bullets from the play gun with the other ball bullets, and they're just like going everywhere. It was just really dumb fun, honestly. There's this one particular dramatic moment after he's like in the tower where he like zip lines basically, and then there's these like explosions all around behind him.
And the music was so good for this section.
It really was. It really, really was. But then he gets there. It's the final boss battle, which Yor comes out of nowhere and is drunk and is like literally wiping the floor with Lloyd. She's like kicking his ass. And
this was so funny because she was supposed to be a witch. And then Lloyd goes, wait, if she's a witch, why are we doing a physical fight then?
It's too sensible.
Or something like that. It was so funny.
No, it was good. It was good. And then she, of course, just kind of falls asleep mid-fight. So he's like, okay. And so he goes up to Frankie, and Frankie's like, ha, I'm going to beat you now. And then he like punches him in the face, which Frankie kind of deserved it after the shit he pulled this episode. But yeah. And so there's just like this really sweet moment where he's like the whole time, like he goes up to Anya and he like has like rosy cheeks and he's like, I save you now, Princess Anya, blah, 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 blah. And then they like watch the fireworks basically. And
yeah, it's
pretty
so
much
cute.
the end of the episode.
All the minions cheering for them is adorable.
The minions. I just thought of like Minions like Gru. Anyway.
Yeah. Were the Minions not in your version of the episode?
You know what? Yeah. They know, actually. It's interesting.
Spy Family in collaboration with Illumination Studios.
Illumination. Oh, God. Okay. We're moving on to episode 6. What were your thoughts on this one?
I thought this episode, there was some moments that I really liked in this episode, but I don't think it was my favorite of the batch.
Really? Okay.
This was your favorite of the batch?
No. The reason I said it like that was because it's the highest rated one out of all 4.
Oh, okay.
At an 8.4 on IMDb. Maybe I shouldn't get my ratings from IMDb, but
no, I actually like comparing that to how like my personal scale ranks them.
Mm-hmm. Personally, I would rate this one the way the next one is rated, and then vice versa. Like, so then the third episode of the bunch would be rated higher than this one, in my opinion.
I would say this episode was probably my least favorite of the batch.
Really? Okay. I liked this one.
I mean, I still liked it.
I like this one more than the first one.
Okay, I can understand that.
Anyways, synopsis. Anya and Yor pick up Anya's school uniform. Later, Anya has an orientation day at Eden Academy, where Lloyd's plan B to get close to Donovan via having her befriend his second son, Damian, is off on a disastrous start. Now the family, being ready to go to school, is out getting a uniform for Anya. And this is, I have something to note here. The shop lady, which is the same shop lady we've seen for the past 8 episodes, was like, hey, weird how you got married so fast. And I was like, my theories!
I know, you were right. You called it.
Yeah, so we'll see if this goes further. But anyway, just something I wanted to say. So the shop lady is indeed scaring Anya because she's like, oh, there are all these social hierarchies at school. And then like also commuters have been getting kidnapped.
Right. I'm like, yeah, let's tell that to a young, impressionable child. Great job, woman.
Yeah, seriously. And then they go out to eat or whatever, and Lloyd gets an assignment from Sauce that spelled something out on their lunch question mark.
So random.
Yeah.
And he says, they gotta stop giving me orders like this.
It's actually so obvious. Like later on we see how like the like secret police or whatever like take pictures of suspicious people, and I'm like, dude, all I could think was if someone took a photo of Lloyd with that meal, they'd be like, what does that mean? Why is it so obvious? It's very
clearly something spelled. Like, it's so obvious, I feel like.
Absolutely. But anyways, so they get back home. He asks if Yor can take Anya and get her uniform because it's not ready. Lloyd goes to get briefed about phase 2 of the plan that he's currently involved in. So he like does like a Superman thing, goes to a phone booth, but I think it's actually a photo booth in this situation, goes like down or whatever. And I have here, sexy witch lady gives him the details because of her hat. It's very witch-like. She basically explains that Anya needs to be an imperial scholar, or they say a stella. She needs to be a stella.
Get the stars.
Which consists of 8 stars, right?
Yeah, it's 8 stars, and then you get like the hooks or something.
It's I think it's bolts, like bolts. Yeah, 8 lightning bolts to get expelled. And the way you get 8 stars is if you like
are awesome.
Yeah, you get good grades. You're part of clubs. You do theater club. I don't know, clean up some fallen leaves somewhere or something. I don't know. Yeah. But anyways, after that, Yor and Anya go to the store, and we have some teens. I'm assuming they're teens. They might actually just be like...
They look like teens or just like rascally adults?
I don't know. Either way, get a life, you know? So they see them walk into the store, and they see Anya wearing her uniform. They're like, ooh, okay, we can get some money out of this.
You're a rich girl.
Yeah. And so Anya and Yor are checking out of the grocery store, and Anya's like, I'm going to go wait outside. I'm bored. And walks away as kids do.
Wasn't that the most me thing in this show?
Oh my God. Yeah, that I was like the way she said it, everything. Stellar performance by Katie there. I mean, Anya there. So she it gets taken by these people, and they pull her off to the side, and they're like, oh, okay, that nanny's probably going to be here any second. Someone this rich would never shop themselves or whatever. We can get some money for the girl and take whatever money she has, blah, blah, blah. And so they're like, okay, if nothing else, we can get money for the uniform because the uniform's expensive. So then they like say they're going to strip her. And I'm like, okay, this is getting a little crazy.
Yeah, super weird.
Super, super weird. And then Yor rolls up and goes fucking sicko mode. She like, with her bare hands, breaks a pumpkin, and they freak out and they just run off. They're like, we're not dealing with this.
It was so badass, though.
No, it was really, really cool. And Anya sees this and gets all starry-eyed and is like, can you train me so that school's going to be, so I don't die at school, basically. And Yor was like, yeah, okay. I'll train you.
I want to be like you, mama.
Basically. I think that's literally what she said. Wait, are you Anya?
Wait, next question.
Right, we're on to you. They're back home. Lloyd walks in on them training, and it was actually really cute. Like, they have like workout clothes on, and they're like training or whatever. It's just really funny. And Lloyd is now like thinking in his head, like, oh man, like make a Stella student out of this little girl. And then her like face is like,
I forget that she can read everybody's minds sometimes.
I feel like the last episode we didn't really see too much of that, and then in this one it's very like the next few it's very, very prominent, or at least these next two.
Yes, no, I agree. You're right completely.
So basically, after that, they're like, okay, well, now she has to go to school, and they call her up to her class, and she can like hear all of them like talking about her, or whatever the hell they're talking about. And then all of a sudden, before this, Desmond does get called, and then that it obviously is the son of the person we're after, essentially. And she passes him up, and she's like staring at him like, oh, okay, this is the kid or whatever. And he's like, does she like me? Like, I don't blame her. She has good taste. Like, he's being a little freaking asshole. And
so cute, though.
The biggest note I have is that, like, he just kind of looks weird. Like,
oh, he looks weird.
He looks like a child adult, basically.
A chadult?
A chadult, exactly. And so like, and then this kind of starts off of a whole thing because she can hear him obviously, and she's like, oh, I don't like him like that, whatever. And so she like makes his face, and then it kind of starts off a rocky relationship, you could say, to start off, because he's like making fun of her or whatever, and she's like kind of thinking back. She had her anime training montage with her mom, and so just like Luffy would or Naruto, they think back to in their training with their masters and like, how do I figure out how to get out of this situation? You know what she decides to do, Katie? Actually, you should tell the viewers what she decides to do.
I mean, she says, you know what I should do? I should punch this guy.
Holy crap, dude. And it was good. It was so good. He like flies across the room and goes straight into the trash can.
It was a slow-mo too when it hit his face.
Yes. And like, honestly, this show has given us 2 satisfying punches that were kind of like fun to see. I feel like I'm living through them because I can't actually do that in real life, right? I can't actually like punch someone who I think is annoying. So it's like, oh yeah, mean headmaster guy, Lloyd punches him. Mean little kid, Anya punches him. It's great.
You could punch somebody in real life, Louis.
No, I'm not going to do that.
You could punch me in real life. I don't think I'd be that upset.
Well, I don't want you to die, Katie. Think about that?
Oh, okay, yeah, because it'd be that strong.
Yeah, you know me, man. I eat my vegetables now.
Yeah, okay. I was like, since when?
And so she, as a result, Headmaster Henderson gives her the bolt, one of the bolts that she needs 8 to, be kicked.
The cool thing, though, is like, he walked over and she's like, how do I rationalize it? And like, she was replaying in her head of like the whole thing of her mom was like, oh, it doesn't matter if you rationalize it for somebody else. And then like Becky was like, she was holding in her anger all day. Like, and then she was like, I did it because I saw him step on Becky's foot or whatever. And then the headmaster says, oh my God, she restrained her own anger and only fought on behalf of her friends. How elegant.
Truly, Master Henderson is the GOAT.
Elegant Boner Man is my favorite character.
Elegant Boner Man, great. That's his unique name. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of the end of that episode, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I love this episode. It gave me my favorite quote so far is when Anya's looking at the crowd of all the prospective students. And she goes, a lot of people here are dressed like me. And Lloyd goes, yeah, that's what a uniform is.
Her reactions to the things he's both thinking and saying are great. They're so good.
But yeah, I like this episode. Episode 7.
All right, episode 7. This is my personal favorite. 8.2 stars on IMDb. On Anya's first day of school, Lloyd attempts to get her to apologize to Damian in hopes of salvaging the plan for the two to become friends. Unfortunately, Damian, conflicting feelings for Anya may get in the way of this.
Whoa.
How do you feel about this episode, Katie?
I liked this episode. Not as much as I liked the last one, episode 8.
Oh, you like 8 the most, huh? Interesting.
I do. I mean, we'll get to that in a minute. But I really enjoyed this episode. And the way that it utilizes like animation effects in this episode is super fun.
All right, then. We will get right into it. This is called The Target's Second Son. So they eat breakfast, and it's cute because Anya like does this little like, I'm going to like peek my head in and look at my dad and my, and just kind of like be really sulky and sad about it. And he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Like, it's a new day. Let's not like dwell on the past or whatever. And Anya gets to school. She takes the bus, which apparently is like a whole thing. Like, if you take the bus here, you're trash.
Yeah, like you're apparently too poor.
Yeah, because some people live in the dorms like Damian does. And then like some people like Becky, who we see here, come in a freaking limo. And she's like, oh yeah, I can have a limo. I can have a driver pick you up every day if you want. And she's like, wait, so I could be Mrs. Rich Girl too?
She says, I'm not trying to adopt you.
Exactly. And so Anya was trying to work up the courage. They do run into Damian and the crew. And she tries to apologize. And Becky's like, no, come on. Let's not apologize to these stupid heads. And we get the big reveal of the century. Freaking Lloyd is spying on her to get her to apologize to this kid.
So, classic spy family.
Yep. Classic Lloyd.
LOID, Lloyd.
So throughout class, Anya can like kind of just hear the people because of her mind reading. And this is becoming prominent again. She's like hearing like people be like, oh, she's barbaric. She's violent. She's an animal, blah, 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 blah. And Becky kind of just had like a nice thing to say. She was like, "Oh, you're cool. I like you. You know, you stand up for what you believe in. Blah 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 blah. I hope we're friends forever." And I thought that was really sweet because, like, truly and honestly, when you're a kid, you do have friendships that are like that, or at least that were like that, right? Like you experienced something of the sort, which I think is very nice.
Yeah, something of the sort. Wah wah wah.
Yeah,
he's like following her, and she knows the whole time that she has to apologize. So like essentially, it's just montage. Like it's actually a super fun montage. I don't know.
It is a very fun montage. You're talking the sorry montage.
The sorry montage of Lloyd trying to get Anya's attention and like trying to make sure that she knows she has to apologize, and she does. Like you can hear it in her head. She's like, "It's really important that I apologize," and stuff like that. So he like leaves her notes. He like puts a piece of paper on a kid's back that says "Say sorry." He writes it all over her omu rice and in sauce, ironically, which I think is a fun callback to the last episode or the episode.
Oh yeah, of course.
But like it's so silly, and honestly, it's just super fast paced and super fun. And then eventually he calls what's her name, Becky.
Becky,
like,
yes, Becky.
Yeah, into like a completely different room across the school so that she can like have a chance to go apologize. And Anya goes and takes advantage of this. And she walks over to Damian and like his Beavis and Butthead, like, or, you know. Well, what is the name of the two ones from Harry Potter?
That's the one. Crab and Goyle. Crab and Goyle. That's a wonderful analogy. Yeah,
the Crab and Goyle goons. And they're like in the way standing. And then they move out of the way. And she's like trying to muster up the like courage to say that she's sorry. And she's saying like the tears are welling up in her eyes. And then she starts crying. She's like, "I'm so sorry, blah, 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 blah." And then Louis, this next part, oh my gosh.
Dude, it totally encapsulates what it means to be a kid. Because like you hear all the time, like, "Oh, this kid is mean to me at school. Well, it's because he likes you or she likes you or whatever." And like this is definitely one of those situations. I almost want to like root for them, you know, like in like that kind in that way, despite him being like kind of prissy and whatever.
But I'm like rooting for it hardcore.
I'm glad. I'm almost there. But so basically, just to piggyback off what Katie was saying, like he is having his own inner monologue of like, why is my heart beating fast? Like, what does this mean? Blah 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 blah. Like I feel so like when she's next to me and like he gets all flustered and then he finally apologizes and he runs off. He's like, "I will never accept your apology."
And then Lloyd is like, "Oh well, there goes my plan."
And it's so silly because he's just like dressed up in his like outfit or whatever, his like
chef
facilities outfit or janitorial outfit or whatever it was, and he just like falls straight on the ground. It's like, dude, is no one gonna like be worried about that?
Oh, nobody had a concern in the world.
No. However, there's a really like sweet thing that happens. So obviously she in school, whatever, they're back at home. And he realizes that like, okay, they're not gonna be able to get friends. Let's try to get there academically, right? And so he tries to help Anya with her homework, but it's not going well. And she gets upset and she runs to her room, right? Because he's like, "Oh, you can't watch your spy show unless you finish your homework." And she was like, And Lloyd have a sweet moment, I think. And I think this is like the most real they've ever like gotten with each other, which is funny to say because they are in a make-believe relationship, right? Like it's not real at all, but it starts to have some type of semblance of like it actually being real, you know what I mean? And so he's like, "Oh yeah, she needs to do this or whatever. Like she needs to be a Stella." And she's like, "But is that what she wants? Consider that." And he's like, "Oh." In his brain, he's like, "Well, I need it, but like she's a person, you know, she's my kid, so I can't make her, you know, like," and so it was just a real sweet thing. He's like, "You know what? You're right. You're absolutely right." And so after that, they sit down and, you know, they give her space or whatever. And then after a while, like they talk a little bit more and stuff. And he's like, "You know what? I'm going to go talk to her because her spy show is about to be on." He goes into her room and finds her asleep on her desk studying by herself. And it's super sweet. She fell asleep. He puts her back in the bed, tucks her in, about it being episode's over. But yeah, that's it for that one.
I thought it was adorable. Oh, yeah, I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited.
For this next one?
I love this episode.
Okay, so let's get there. The counter-secret police cover operation, there's an 8.1 star rating on this episode. Yor's younger brother, Yuri, is a member of the Austanian secret police hunting spies while keeping it a secret. But when he shows up at the foragers' residence, their secrets come face to face. What did you think about this episode?
I love this episode. I thought it was delightful.
Is it like your favorite one that we've seen so far?
Yeah, sure. I'll say that. I'll go out on a limb. I'll say it's my favorite so far. I laughed out loud so many times this episode. And as much as I've enjoyed the other episodes, I have not laughed out loud as much as I have at this episode. I think it was so funny because, like, at the top of the episode, I was like, man, Yuri's so sweet and wholesome. I wish my brother would talk about me like this. And then as the episode went on, I was like, woof.
We can actually spend a good deal of time talking about this episode because honestly, there wasn't like that much to write down because it was just like a lot of banter and not a lot to like describe, if that makes sense.
Oh, I had the most notes for this episode.
Really? I did not. I was just kind of like, anyway, well, let's get through the play-by-play and then we'll talk about it, of course. So people are being caught as spies, it's revealed. And at Yor's work, which happens to be like City Hall or whatever it is, we finally see a picture of Yuri. And previously we were like on purpose, presumably not seeing pictures of him, right? And it comes out that Yuri is a member of the secret police. So they're like interrogating this guy, one of the guys that they specifically took from Yor's work as a potential spy. They were interrogating, couldn't get anything out. And Yuri's 20 years old and is in the secret police. And they're like, oh, he's so young. Why is he here? I guess we need people who are like fun and whatever, like him. And the like supervisor's like, oh, well, yeah, isn't he quite adorable? And I was like, what the hell? And he had like heart eyes kind of for him. I was like, what? What's going on here? and so Yuri is interrogating this guy. And he's like really sweet and nice. He's like, yeah, my sister this, my sister that, my sister works at where you work and blah, 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 blah. And then goes completely goblin mode all over this guy and bashes his face into cigarettes, pulls out like evidence that only he had for some reason and is like, do you know who Twilight is? And then that's kind of like our needle drop or like our mic like, drop there. So he's kind of onto him somehow. This is like a light and L situation like from Death Note. But yeah. So moving on.
Like, of course, he's the opposition.
Right. Of course, it would. It just can't be easy for our friend Lloyd, aka Twilight, right? There's always something. Yuri's gonna visit the fortress. Is what's revealed. Yor comes home all like flustered and is like, "Oh my god, we have a situation. Code Red.
Yeah,
my little brother's coming." And they're like, don't worry, we planned for this. Okay, wait. And so they pull out like Lloyd is like, oh, okay, I have like lovey-dovey stuff we can put out. And he has like a heart-shaped like pillows or whatever on their bed and like picture frames with like a heart and it's them all three sitting together and like
it was adorable.
It was cute. It was very, very cute.
And then we see Yuri walking over and then like this is where things start to get like a little weird. First we think it's like adorable or whatever. Got really weird. But things started to get really weird because he's like, oh, I'm just so excited to see my sister. When I remember the feeling of her embrace, my whole body gets a tingling feeling. I was like,
what is happening?
It does what?
What is happening right now, dude?
I was like, okay, maybe I don't wish my brother thought about me like that. And then it just escalates from there. But he shows up with this massive bouquet of roses and it's adorable. And he opens the door and blah, 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 blah. He gets in and like it's super awkward and uncomfortable. And they're all just like sitting there. And he's like, so sister, like you already know, like in his mind, because this part you can hear his inner dialogue, but also that of Yuri's inner dialogue. And who is it? I can't remember if it's Yor or Lloyd, but I think it's you hear. Like,
I feel like it's Lloyd. I think it's Lloyd for most of it.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, we're going to keep our secret. And Lloyd is like, it's going to take everything to win this guy's approval for my sister.
Mm-hmm.
My sister deserves everything. And he's like, I will hate this man. It will take everything for me to approve of this marriage. So it's just like already we're like, great. Okay, Perfect. They're diametrically opposed as we walk in. And I sit down and Yuri's like, sister, why did you not tell me about this marriage?
Oh my God. This part was so hysterical.
I laughed out loud. And then it like flashes back to earlier. And Lloyd was like, we could just probably like tell him. He'd probably understand that being a single woman in the city is dangerous. And she's like, you don't know my brother. Don't worry. I've come up with a perfect ruse. So then it cuts back and Yuri's like, because I forgot to tell you. And he was like, 1 year and you forgot to tell me? And we talked on the phone last week and you told me you were seeing someone. Why not tell me then? And she says, I forgot that I had forgotten to tell you. And then Lloyd is like, oh my God, he'll never believe that. And it cuts over to Yuri and he says, okay.
He's like, all right, cool vibes. That makes sense. Gotcha.
And Lloyd is like, man, this guy's logic in regards to his sister is nuts.
Yeah, it just does not make any sense.
It's so funny, Louis.
Yes, agreed. It's very funny. And the next part, finally, we have Lloyd enter the fray and he brings his food. He's like, oh, Yuri's inner monologue is like, oh, I'm not going to eat his food, but I must or else sister's going to not like, be upset with me.
Yeah.
He eats it and it's like the best thing he's ever had.
Oh, and he can't hide it. You can see it in his eyes.
Yeah, he's having so much fun about it. And he's like, it doesn't matter if he's a great cook and a good boyfriend or good husband and handsome and tall. Yeah. He's like, I'm still not going to approve of him. Oh, this is so good. He's like freaking out. And so they get to talking. There's like conversations happening. And by the kinds of things that Yuri is saying, Lloyd is able to deduce that he is of the secret police, which I'm like, okay. But then he says, okay, and I had Frankie do some digging for me. And it's like, right, okay. So like you kind of figured it out, but not really.
He was like, this conversation template is exactly what they're taught to weed out beginners. And he's like, but since that template was made, things have changed. The owner of the shop is now his son, and now it's 300 and blah, 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 blah. It's so stupid. But I thought it was really funny, actually.
No, it was funny. It was funny. Don't get me wrong. I quite enjoyed it. Regardless, it was still just like one of those like, okay, so that's how we're going to have this situation. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is how we're going to move but it's okay because it's that kind of show. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, we kind of start to end this episode with Yuri trying to effectively make them prove that they are married. That he offers to go get the marriage certificate and he's like, no. I need to see y'all kiss. Because there was this moment where they actually touch each other's hands and they get all nervous. And it's like, he gets suspicious, basically. And he's like, okay, I want to see y'all kiss. And they get all like flustered about it. And Lloyd's like, well, babe, I'm just going to kiss you like I always do. And right before he kisses her, the episode ends. And what I have for a thing of note in that regard is Yuri is a cuck.
Yuri is a cuck, bro.
And it's so sad.
And Yuri freaked out, too. Like, he was literally screaming. Oh, my God. My favorite part was the cutaways where Yuri was, like, feverishly glugging the wine. And, like, it was, like, colored, like, kind of shaded gray. It was so funny.
Yeah. It really was. It was good. Yeah, so that's kind of the end of that episode. I mean, it was a fun one. It was a really, really fun one. So, at this point, we are... how many? 8 episodes in?
Yep.
And so the next bunch is going to be 9 through 12, which is show off how in love you are all the way through Penguin Park. And then at that point, we'll be about a little under halfway done with the whole season.
Are you serious? Whoa.
Yeah. Well, 12, there's 25 episodes. So yeah, I believe, right?
Damn, we're speeding through this.
Yeah. And actually, pretty soon, the next 4 episodes are going to come out actually this month. So season 2. Obviously, we won't watch season 2 until it's all out, but
sure.
Regardless. So thus far, we're about, let's say, a third into it. How do you feel with this one versus Cowboy Bebop?
So far, as picking up an anime, I love that there's characters for me to root for that I feel like are great people, especially coming off of the heels of Cowboy Bebop, where I felt really conflicted about a lot of the characters.
Yeah.
Having like super clear and root forable protagonists that I feel like are good people at their core and have good motivations. It's just super easy to like everybody in the show. And it's also super easy to follow, like through Cowboy Bebop, all the way almost to the entire end of the show. I was just wondering, okay, where are we going with this? Like, what's the meaning? What's the core of the show? But with this, like, it's so easy to follow. Like, this is the mission.
It knows exactly what it is.
Oh, it knows exactly what it is, and it tells the audience too. So there's no questions, there's no wondering. It's just a super easy watch, you know? And Cowboy Bebop was challenging in that way. And in a good way. It made me think. It made me ponder. It made me curious. It made me really think about everything I was watching. But this is just super, like, it has a bunch of, like, fun slice of lifey moments, and it's just really easy to watch. And I think that's really nice.
Yeah. I gotta say, I am usually not a fan of slice of life when I'm like watching shonens and that sort of thing. Which honestly, I think this might be a shonen. Well, it's not in the way that we think of shonens. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Regardless, I like the slice of life aspects of this, especially when Anya's being a kid. You know, because I think that's something that we can all attest and like relate to, is being a kid and like having these kid feelings and that sort of thing. And I think that's why, even though we're not even halfway through it yet, we're a third, right? Like, I can definitely see why Anya is a fan favorite.
Oh, yeah. Just super adorable.
And why she was all over the place last summer. During the summer, all over anime, like TikTok, all over anime Twitter. Like, she was just all over the place. Yeah, dude. People would like edit Anya into like, I'm not going to say that it's like the best thing in the world to do, but I gotta say, after watching this much of the show, I like understand the humor and I kind of giggle at it. But they would like Photoshop Anya as if she was really big and like making like natural disasters happen.
Please send me one of those TikToks.
Yeah, I mean, they're just like Twitter photos. There's this one in particular, and like I might get canceled for this, but if I do, you know, whatever. But I just saw it, and it's
say it.
It's topical. But they photoshopped Anya as like making the Twin Towers, like hitting the Twin Towers.
I knew you were going to say that. And honestly, like, cancel me too. I think that's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's I
like
couldn't help but be
like the same energy as that one meme where well, you know the photo. I've shown you the photo of the cat in the hat with a bat.
Oh my god. Where he's hitting the tower.
But how else do you make sense of tragedy other than through comedy?
No, yeah, honestly, I know shot. I agree with that. But yeah, it was more of a like, oh my god, are you serious right now?
Yeah. Oh,
It was fun. It's funny. It's funny. But if I find them, I will. Maybe now that I've talked about it, my phone has heard me say it, and my phone's now gonna.
I also don't want my TikTok to know that I'm watching this though, because I'm afraid it'll give me spoilers.
Oh, vibes. Maybe I'll wait until the end of
Do you know any spoilers for the show?
I don't know anything.
Okay. Good.
I came into the show completely like oblivious, which is interesting because as we get into like other animes after this, it's gonna be like, oh, okay, like
yeah,
I'm gonna know a lot more.
Okay,
especially cool. if we watch animes I've already watched, which is gonna be kind of hard to not watch, you know, at one point at least. But
well, I think that'd be also a fun dynamic to explore of something that you're really familiar with and something I'm not at all familiar with.
For sure, we have a long list to choose from, my friend. If and when you are willing, I will say this: Attack on Titan is gonna end at some point soon, so that could be an option for us too, for a full show, longer show, start to finish. We can watch together.
Damn. Okay.
Not the point of this conversation. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. As we're getting to the end of the podcast episode, though, Katie, where can people find you on social media?
They can find me at Real Slim Katie, Katie 25 on Letterboxd, TikTok, Reddit, or Instagram. Check me out.
Ooh, baby.
Woo.
You baby.
What about you, Lou D-O double G?
Despite my gamer tag, my name on social media is at The Angry Belly on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
Oh, that exists.
And YouTube. I think those are the only ones. If I'm on there on an app that you find me on, it may or may not be me. But anyways,
is there an impersonator out there at The Angry Belly with 2 E's, just trying to slander you?
Oh, good. Yeah, you know that's the distinction right there. The You can join the Angry Valley Discord. It's going to be linked in the description below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're not on YouTube, go to any one of my social media platforms. Go to YouTube even and hit we have a permanent invite link everywhere on the link tree and stuff like that for you to look into. Now I can officially say, I don't know if it's been done since the last podcast, but I can officially say we are now on at least 10 platforms.
Hell yeah,
which is very, very cool.
Wait, what are all of them?
Oh, Jesus. You're going to have to give me a second here to pull it up.
YouTube, Apple Pods, Stitcher.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're on Apple Podcasts, Podbean app, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Samsung Podcast app, Podchaser, and Boom Play, as well as YouTube. The only big one that we're not on is Google Podcasts, because they're stinky and they don't want to do things that I want them to do. I digress. Not important. But yeah. So that's what's going on over here. Please tune in on the stream if you want to play some Minecraft or Splatoon. We got some big things coming pretty soon. We're looking to hit 1,000 subs. So sub if you're having fun and the whole jazz. Remember to engage with your favorite content creators. If you can't help them monetarily, the way you can help support is if you like and subscribe, if you review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or and leave a rate and a review. It really helps the algorithm. They're like, hey, if one person likes it enough to engage with it, maybe another person will. So that's just what I have to say about that.
Louis, did we finish? Is this the episode that was released today? Is that episode like the end of Cowboy Bebop?
That is, in fact, the end of Cowboy Bebop. Yes.
Holy heck.
We're recording this on the 7th of February, by the way.
No. Oh, yes. Sorry.
I was like, what do you mean, no?
I was like, Louis, it's not January, it's February. And then my mind heard that you said February, and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Sounds like we need to get you to bed.
Heard.
As always, remember to have fun, be safe, and to keep those bellies full. We'll be back next episode with the next 4 episodes of Spy Family. Bye-bye.
Bye.